Did y'all see that ice clone? I know I saw that ice clone. They took that shit out of the most recent Mortal Kombat. As well as, did y'all see these tag team matches and these handicap matches? They don't got none of that shit in the new Mortal Kombat. That shit pisses me off. Anyway, this ain't about the Mortal Kombat game. This is about the new Mortal Kombat movie, the one that's on HBO and in theaters right now. Yeah, I'm pretty kind of late on this review, but I'm late on all my reviews, so that's not surprising. Uh, and we open up with this movie. I'm not going to spoil too much. I think I'm going to spoil characters that are in this, but I won't spoil deaths or anything like that. But yeah, I'm gonna break down the plot for you. You kind of have to talk about some plot things to just kind of talk about because that's the bad part of the movie. So as we all know, action very good, bloody gore combat are that very good. Um, Writing and when people speak not so good. That's pretty much this movie in a nutshell. But we start off with the best, one of the top two best scenes in the entire movie is literally the first 10 to 20 minutes of the movie, and I'm pretty sure they've already released it online and it was like part of the promotional and it was in the trailer, and I just hate that shit because it just ruins everyone's. I don't know, it just ruins it. But I didn't watch any of that shit. I watched it in the movies, or not in the movies, but at my home and on HBO for the first time. The Lin Kuei, or not the Lin Kuei, but the Bihan versus Hanzo, the young Scorpion and Sub Zero fight, and just the tragic backstory there. And at that point, the movie is a 10 out of 10. The first like 10 minutes of this movie is a 10 out of 10. It is almost worth watching. It is worth watching this movie alone, if based on Sub Zero and Scorpion's those two guys' performances and fighting and all that. Everyone's talking about like all these other characters like Kano, and people do like the guy who plays Scorpion in this, but I think Sub Zero is the best character in this. Almost pretty much. He's just awesome. He's the villain. He's like the main villain, and he's awesome. He is the main villain. So yeah, we see this early fight, and basically Sub Zero kind of wins, and then it's like 400 years later because that fight was really early on. And we go to this guy named Cole. He's an MMA fighter, and he instantly fucking like throws a fight or something like that. He's not as good as he used to be in fighting, and you instantly see him lose. Basically, he's a new character. It's kind of it's hinted at early on that he's gonna like turn into Scorpion or something. Maybe he'll become fucking Johnny Cage. Maybe he'll become whatever. No, don't get your hopes up. He is a brand new character to the universe, and that is just stupid. That is just dumb, bad, 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 bad. Why bring a new character to introduce us into the world when we have a character like Johnny Cage? Maybe you don't want to completely, uh, steal what that is, like the original Mortal Kombat story, and redo it, but definitely like basically they kind of tease Johnny Cage anyway, and like at that point, why even have a new character that is basically Johnny Cage but way worse, way not cool, has actual plot armor in this, like a literal plot armor, because uh, you learn about Mortal Kombat. The Cole character beats like Sonya and Jax, and they're being chased by Sub Zero because he's trying to kill all the people. Basically, this is like a prequel before the tournament. Like you get no tournament in this movie. It's not. I don't think that's a spoiler. I think that's like a warning. Do not get your hopes up. We don't get a fucking tournament. We kind of do, but it's actually before the tournament. Shang Tsung is the big baddie here, trying to destroy the Earthrealm's fighters before the tournament even begins. So he's basically ambushing them and attacking them on Earth, and that's kind of cool to be honest, seeing Sub Zero on Earth. But he's not a great assassin. He kills some people really cool, and then other people he lets lives and just kind of freezes them, and he takes his time with them. I don't know. It's very weird, but I like some of it. Like I said, I think every scene with Sub Zero is great. People say that Kano steals every scene of this movie, and that is true, but I think Sub Zero equally steals every scene he is also in. Even though he doesn't talk necessarily, he does with his presence. Compared to every other character in this movie that usually is supposed to have an insanely good presence, like Shang Tsung, the original actor, is like has an insanely good presence. Raiden is supposed to have like just a godlike presence. None of those characters, you don't feel anything from them when they're there. But you do when Sub Zero is on screen. You feel something. You feel like, oh shit, these people are gonna die. Um, yeah, and then like I said, they follow Cole Young. He sucks. He gets his ass kicked. He has a boring family that they kind of introduce early on, and they don't stick too long with the family. But anytime showing someone's human family that isn't that good is just stupid in a Mortal Kombat movie. So I don't know. It just wasn't done good, that to me. And basically, they eventually Liu Kang finds Cole and like Sonya, and they get Jax, and they bring them all to this temple to meet Kung Lao, and they all have to train. Not even train. They just have to get their asses kicked and get angry enough. Oh, Kano's there too. They have to get their ass kicked enough to be angry, and like basically they unlock their powers. Anyone with this like symbol on them, which is the Mortal Kombat logo, can unlock their powers. That is a stupid. That is just like a way to write yourself into like you can be whatever the fuck you want. It's just and it literally shows later. I don't know if you guys have seen the Jax memes, but like early on, Jax gets done really dirty, and then later on he kind of just thinks his arms, because we know who Jax is. He's a guy with metal arms. Just kind of thinks his arms on. So yeah, there's that. I mean, I don't know if these are spoilers, but these are things that are stupid and you're not gonna remember anyway. That's why they're complaints. He just kind of thinks his arms on. Sonya has like this whole arc where she doesn't have the Mortal Kombat symbol, but then like gets it later, and it's just not super satisfying. Anyway, Kano is the star of the show for the comedy aspect. Kano is probably like a better Cole character. He's like our introduction into the world as well, because he's new to everything. He's like, oh shit, can I get some fucking superpowers like Liu Kang's fireballs? And you either love or hate him. I've seen like everyone online think Kano's hilarious, and I do agree he's fucking funny. But I've seen like one or two people really think Kano's annoying. I don't know, maybe they're just gotta stick up their ass. But it's worth going out there. Kano is his asshole. Like, he's the most like his game character than anyone else in the entire movie. And that's just because he gets probably the best lines. He's funny and all that. Anyway, Kano is there, and they all are fighting, and we get some really cool. We get a lot of cool, cheesy, corny references to the game in this, like flawless victory or Kano wins. Or I also forgot that like Reptile was in this, but I mean I guess I shouldn't mention too much about that fight because it's spoilery. But the Reptile, it was kind of cool. He's like I think he's the Reptile from like Mortal Kombat Defiance or something like that. He's not like the ninja one, which is kind of disappointing. I don't know. I like a world where there's ninjas and they're like a set team, but instead it's like just these two ninjas, and then we got like Reptile and like no one else. No one else from either of these two ninja sides are around. I don't know why I keep looking like a pterodactyl. Anyway, I guess it's more like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, but that's unrelated to this video. We get some cool fatalities in this, actually, like top-notch fatalities. I would say like Kung Lao gets a really cool fatality that is pretty much worth the price of a mission itself. And like I said, that beginning fight is worth it. And like, there's some cool references to like spamming abilities in here, which is fucking hilarious. Liu Kang, the guy who plays Liu Kang, is really short, and I just don't like that. He's like trying to tell all these people how serious shit's going on. He's like looking up to them while he's doing it, and I was like giving him a lot of shit when I was watching the movie. Then he took off his shirt, and he got buff as hell. And then he like didn't do anything with his shirt off. He came and told him to put it back on, and he fucking did. So it was kind of weird, but I don't know. Shit like that is constantly happening. You're constantly questioning what the logic behind it. Just don't do that. Do not, like, that's one thing too. I also went into this film with tempered expectations because it's a video game movie. Not only that, it's a Mortal Kombat movie. It's this is probably still, dare I say it, the best Mortal Kombat movie we have out of the three that I think are out. Not the best actors, not the best performances, but the best overall movie, the best effects. There is a few weak CGI moments in here for sure, but not enough to like really take you out of anything. It's mainly the writing that is terrible. I mean, character development kind of, but they shouldn't even have tried character development. People have been complaining that the movie didn't have good characters or depth or anything like that. Mortal Kombat's never been about that. It never will be about that. It's just about the backstories, the stories, and setting up the fights and having cool fights. That's it. It's not about evolving. It's about who you are and fighting the opposite. That's pretty much it. And they just kind of do all these weird tropey spins on things. But anyway, I'm just ranting now. Towards the end of the film, we get all these different fights. And finally, it takes a while for our main character, Cole, to really get his power. He actually gets sent home because he can't do his fucking power. He can't get it to work or whatever. Because, like I said, Jax thinks his arm's on. Kano gets his laser eye. Kung Lao's always had his fucking sombrero hat. All that shit's going on. And then they send our boy Cole home because he can't fucking think his power's on. And, and then we get a fight there when he gets sent home that is pretty disappointing. It was a good fight, like, looking at it. Like, when Cole gets sent home, I'm trying not to spoil this character, I guess, even though I spoiled a lot of other things. But when Cole gets sent home and who he fights, it's just so stupid to see that character die right there to that character. It just sucks. I don't know, that's disappointing, but then, like I said, skip past all the fights, like with Melina is also in this, and she's, like, fighting Sonya. These fights are all good, but not super memorable. The Jackson Sub-Zero one early on is also probably pretty good, not memorable though. But the one towards the end, I guess I'm just trying to talk about the Sub-Zero and Scorpion fight, the build-up action climax at the end, has a really stupid thing in it, but I also loved it. Obviously, it's these two fighting in their full-on costumes and their powers, and it's just awesome. Get over here, blah blah blah. And then we also cut to Cole, and his family has been taken by Sub-Zero, and they're like frozen. Cole's just like punching the ice. It's cut into this epic battle, this like cool ass choreographed battle, like probably one of the coolest ones I've ever seen. Maybe I'm just hyped off of it because I've seen it, but this is my second time seeing it. Like I just watched it, and but then they keep cutting to Cole, and it's just like, what the fuck is he doing hitting the ice? And I don't know. Cole does another thing at the end that they just he literally that's the thing. The Cole plot armor joke. This man literally grows plot armor. That's his power. When he's getting his ass beat, was trying to protect his family, he just kind of grows armor, and then that armor protects him for when he gets hit. He basically turns into Black Panther. And yeah, that's all I've got to say about that. He just doesn't even get cool powers. He's just fucking lame all the way through. Cole was a mistake of this movie. He's the biggest mistake, and it's not the actor's fault at all. The actor did all right. The only character that really threw me off with their acting was the villain with the hammer. I forgot his name. I play Mortal Kombat games, but even Mortal Kombat fans barely know who the fuck he is because he's lame as shit. And he didn't even really look like the guy from the games after I realized who he was. But anyway, his facial expressions are just awful. He looks like he is making fun of the experience, and it really pisses me off, to be honest. I don't know why. But when he's fighting Jax, I just hate him. I hate him. I don't know. Kung Lao has cool. There's a lot of cool fatalities, a lot of funny jokes. Cabal is in this, kind of talks a little too much, but I liked Cabal. I guess a lot of people online didn't, but I did. You're gonna get your soul sucked is probably his best quote from the movie. Shang Tsung, the guy who played him, has a hard time, following up from the previous guy who played Shang Tsung. Does not nearly intimidate you as much, or not at all, really, compared to the old one. And that's pretty much goes the same for every character here. The guy who plays Raiden is not as good as the other guy who played Raiden. I think it's Christopher Walker. Anyway, I would still, even with all these minor complaints and nitpicks and even big complaints with Cole being absolutely trash, he's the main character, it's because I'm a Mortal Kombat fan. Like, I played Mortal Kombat 11, I played Mortal Kombat 9, and Shaolin Monks when I was younger, and Armageddon, and Deadly Alliance. I can go on and on. I haven't played them all. I have missed a few. Like, I didn't know who the fuck the flying lady was, the wings, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm really into it, and I just want them to be better. But this is still good. I still recommend watching it at least once, especially if you're a fan of Mortal Kombat. Then you probably already have watched it. But if you're a fan of Mortal Kombat, my final verdict on this, as a fan of Mortal Kombat, is probably a 6 out of 10. It could be a 7. It easily could be a 7 or an 8. And it easily could be a 5 or a 4 if you're not a fan of Mortal Kombat beforehand, or if you don't like turning your brain off for action movies that can sometimes have not the greatest action. Like the action is really great throughout, but there's like 1 or 2 action scenes that are just kind of too heavy, cut heavy, too shaky cammy, for sure. So anyway, my final verdict overall, though, like I said, for me is a 6 out of 10. If you don't know anything about Mortal Kombat, it's probably a 5 out of 10. It's just an average movie. I think I do want a sequel. I think we should all want a sequel. Just fucking write Cole as being like Kung Lao or something. Write him as a character. Turn him into a Mortal Kombat character. I don't want a new guy. I want him to turn into someone else, or make him become the next Scorpion. Something. Along with, just introduce more characters too. I always take more characters, just even if they suck. Just see them on the big screen. I want to see Shao Kahn. That's the one I want to see the most. Let me know down below what Mortal Kombat character you want to see the most in live action. I want to see Shao Kahn again so bad. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.